thriving nation. These are basically African proverbs, and of course, they give a woman the right tools and she will build a future for generations. These are the words of Oprah Winfrey. Tonight on the show, we are delving into the world of entrepreneur. Good evening and welcome to another edition of Women on Wheels here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. It is a weekly conversation woven around the issues concerning women in this, especially in this part of the world, talking about celebrating women, talking about how best to empower women, talking about how to improve the well-being of women, doing all of these by celebrating the wins, the giant strides of the female folks at the top of their career, thriving and of course doing excellently well in their field. And of course, let's say a congratulations to workers across the globe. Of course, today is the 29th of April, and in a couple of days, it's going to be Workers' Day. Of course, that's a global event. And the female workforce in the world accounts for about 48.7%, while in Nigeria, the workforce accounts for about 58.8%. The women folks are pushing higher in terms of the workforce population. Kudos to all women in Nigeria. My guest today on the show, I said earlier that we're delving into the world of entrepreneurs. And yes, my guest today, you might not necessarily know her name, but you see, the product she produces is one product you cannot but identify with. This is a product that has come to stay. I can tell you that for a fact. It's a household name already for those who like that food, that particular food. I am familiar with that product, and I can tell that once I mention the name of this product, you can also identify. Once again, good evening and welcome to Women on Wheels. My name is Taiwo Baruwa. This program is brought to you courtesy Toyota Nigeria Limited. Before we get down to business tonight, let's quickly hear a word from our partners.
My people follow others, then we choose Toyota. If not comfort and style, Toyota gets on boku. Step back from car, the day and the day easy to maintain. I drive go west, I journey go south, travel go east, I talk go north. My shows is many Toyota motor for road. Motor is strong and it dey reliable. Toyota. Toyota. Hey, just stand getting down for Nigeria.
Lagos, Nigeria. You're still listening to Women on Wheels here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Tonight on the program, we shall be delving into the world of Oluwayemisi Shesanwobi. She is the managing director of Prothrive Astute Limited, makers of Grandiose Pap, an innovative dry pap product packaged for human consumption both home and abroad. Good evening to you, Oluwayemisi.
Good evening.
How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Before we get down to business proper, Grandiose Pap, the dry one. I don't know, did you see any dry pap in Nigeria before you started making your product, or yours is actually the first? Because I can tell you that your product happens to be the first that I have seen, and I'm not sure I have seen any other one apparently.
Well, when we started, there wasn't any other one, and even when we got the idea and we're working on it.
Okay.
But right now,
There are a couple of them
yes,
out
there are a
there.
couple of them, but then, Grandiose Pap is still the best.
It's still the best. All right, then. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
She is a graduate of accounting from University of Ilorin, a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, and an associate of the Chartered Institute of Management Accountant. She also obtained a certificate of entrepreneurship development from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. In addition to these, she attended the Fate Foundation Scale Up Lab in 2018 and was also a participant in the 26th Emerging Entrepreneurs Program. She has over 20 years of post-qualification experience, starting her working career in the banking industry at the First City Monument Bank. Later moving to Zenith International Bank, she joined KPMG Professional Services as a business consultant, supporting telecommunications, banks, and oil and gas companies to formulate and implement their business strategies aligned to global standards. After in-depth research fueled by desire to impact youth and women, Yemisi and her co-director made a decision to embark on an entrepreneurial pursuit, birthing Prothrive Astute Limited. The company's product, Grandiose Pap, which has been a recipient of various nutrition-related grants and awards, is well loved by its customers within Nigeria and abroad, and is sold in over 500 physical and online stores across Nigeria and African food stores. We can go on and on with your resume, Yemisi. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Thank you. And thanks for having me.
Now,
I'm happy to be here.
How did this journey start for you? Tell me, who is Yemisi?
Yemisi is an accountant. She's an entrepreneur. She's a motivator. She's a teacher. She's a mom. She's a wife. And above all, she's we call her Yellow Gi, or Grandiose Mommy.
Okay.
Because of Grandiose Pap.
Okay, so this is multifaceted Yemisi.
Yes.
She's a mom, she's an accountant, how do you do all of these as a woman?
I believe that my one mantra that I have is that I can do everything that I set my mind upon. The only thing that I need to do is, have that thought and build on it and set out all the strategy that I need to be able to achieve, and then look for support system all around me, because definitely you're going on a journey, but it takes a village to raise a child. So definitely you need support from family and from colleagues to be able to achieve.
Let's look at some of the, relative issues that concerns women as regards, women who work, especially in the banking sector. You're an accountant. Tell me, what are those major challenges you encountered working in the banking sector and then being a woman, merging it with being a mom and a wife?
So when I was actually in the bank, at that time, I was lucky that I wasn't married.
Okay.
But then it was still a bit challenging for me, especially with the time. And around that time was even when I was writing my ICANN. And you wouldn't even have time to go for your lectures. So I just, worked around it, and I had very understanding bosses. And then I ensured that I used my weekends to do my personal and professional development whilst dedicating my working week to my employer that is paying my salary and enabling me to fuel those personal development activities. So basically, I tried to ensure that I managed my time very well. Yeah.
So what informed your decision of leaving the banking industry, to venture into your own private business?
By the time I was having my kids, that was when even the thought of entrepreneurship came on board. At that time, we're looking for food to feed our child, and they weren't getting baby food that was made from locally available raw materials. That was where the quest came from. And then by the time we're working on it, it was actually my husband that actually came up with the idea of PAP. And then when we looked at it, we did a survey. This thing wasn't even available anywhere. at all in Nigeria. So we looked at it and said, oh, this is a good, thing that we could do because it's solving a lot of problem.
Okay.
Both for about post-harvest losses, both for ensuring that the pap that people are taking is well prepared from a standard factory. Not anybody just, making pap from a corner or with any water that is not treated.
Yes.
So we looked at it that this was something that was good, that we're going to contribute to people's nutrition.
Yes.
And then after a while, we thought about it, we prayed about it, we, we did all the strategy, the business plan, and then we saw that, okay, this is a good thing to go into. It was at that time that I made the decision.
How long ago?
That was about 10 years now. 11 years now.
10 years, 11?
Yeah.
So tell me, how's the journey been, being an entrepreneur?
It's been quite challenging. At the same time, it's been fulfilling. So the challenging part is, as an entrepreneur, especially in Nigeria, and when we started, there wasn't funding, there wasn't a lot of support for entrepreneurs. So it was like, and then it was even a novel industry. So there wasn't anybody that had done it before. For example, if I'm going into maybe cassava now, there's a lot of people that have done cassava.
True.
So coming up with the technology, coming up with the market was quite challenging, getting funding. And then also because, I'd worked almost all my life prior to then, changing my mindset from being an employee now to an employer, that if you don't work, if you don't sell pap, you're not going to be able to pay salary.
True.
So those were part of the challenges that we encountered. But then I guess I was even lucky because I had some business consulting experience. Yeah,
yes.
so I was able to bring that on board to my business. And then also my husband was quite supportive. He was an earlier entrepreneur ahead of me.
Good.
So he has seen so many of those challenges, and then, he lends his support as well. Yeah.
All right, then. Let's now delve into women leadership and, the perception, of a lot of people out there that women can be bossy, they can be difficult to deal with. Do you share the same perspective?
I actually don't, because I believe that for almost all my working life, I've had women bosses and I've enjoyed their support. And then I believe that I myself, as a woman boss, I've had good relationship even with staff that are working under me, and even those that have left. Even after you've left, a lot of times they still come back when they come to check up on me. They still promote even our products. So I believe that if I was a boss that wasn't good to my staff, they wouldn't even be carrying the business on even after they've left the organization. So I believe that saying maybe women bosses, I don't believe in that. I believe that that's an individual thing. You could have a male boss who is not good, and you could also have a female boss who is not good. I'm a good boss, and I've enjoyed having good bosses as well throughout my career, working career.
Our society is a patriarchal society, and that is one fact we cannot run away from. Do you think women are doing enough to support the growth of other women, the emancipation of other women, the empowerment of other women?
In my opinion, I believe that a woman who has been empowered would always see the light and believe that this is an opportunity to empower another woman. At least talking from my own perspective, in our own organization, we have maybe about 70% women, and daily we work towards ensuring. I keep telling the guys in our employment that I'm sorry, maybe one day there won't be any guy in this company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because daily we work to improve the technology in such a way that every aspect of the work can be done by women. That's for us, because we believe that when you support a woman, when you emancipate a woman, you're feeding a generation, just like you had said earlier.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's my view, and that's the view that is shared by a lot of other women in my circle. And I believe that as we continue to share that view, as we continue to talk about it, and even other women that don't know about it right now, they will come on board, because when they see the positive impact of that. And then also, there are also men out there who are also supporting women to be the best that they can be. And we also would look up to those men to continue to do that, and then showcase the impact of that support that they are giving women, even to other men, so that they would also see and support women. Because just like you had said before, when a woman is supported to be the best she can be, there is a whole lot of advantage to that, even in the family. Imagine if you're in a family and then the husband is the only one bringing in the money. But if the wife is also bringing something, it also lessens the pressure on the man. Yeah.
Let me see. You have a supportive spouse, and to a reasonable extent, you have worked with people. You see people around you who do not have supportive spouse at home, right? How do you think the men in their lives, or men in general, can actually help in this drive of women emancipation, women empowerment?
So if you have a woman in your life and then you're thinking, let her not have enough money, or let her not be, chase her dream, you're actually working against yourself as a man in that woman's life. Because when you help a woman to blossom, she will forever be indebted to you. She will forever go all out to even support your own dream, even beyond where you can ever think of. So a lot of men will say, if I support this woman, she will become so bossy, she would talk. We women, whether you have money in your pocket or you don't have money in your pocket, you will talk. you would talk. True. You will show your color. True. So it's not because I don't have money in my pocket that will now determine whether I will talk or not. So for me, if you help your wife or the woman in your life to grow, your children will see that as, even your male children, your female children, we see her as a role model, somebody who they can look up to, somebody that can encourage them to be the best that they can be. But if you keep her very well, maybe under the table or not emancipated, she would not even be able to pass that confidence into your children. So I believe that helping a woman, supporting her to grow, is helping yourself and helping your lineage.
All right, then. Still towing that same line of thought, let's now look at how women themselves can actually help themselves grow. Okay. Are there things you think women are doing out there that they should have gone past? Are there things that you think we can do better to even become a better version of ourselves as African women?
I agree, yeah, there are. I believe that the first thing that we need to do is to craft vision for ourselves, personal visions. So it's not just enough to just exist, to wake up daily and just, just flow with the tide. You should have a vision. And I'm lucky, when I was doing my recruitment with KPMG, one question that came up to me or at me then was, where do I see myself in 25 years' time? Then I was 25 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then somebody is asking me that. I'd never even thought about it. But my response to that question formed who I am today. So having a vision, a long-term vision of who you want to be in so and so number of years, from where you are, add those years to your years, and say by that time I'll be so and so years old. What are those things that I would want to have achieved? And then you break it down into maybe another 5 years, another 1 year. You may not necessarily achieve that specific thing, but I tell you that once you get on that journey, the whole world of opportunities open up to you, and you will achieve even much more than you could ever think of. Because at that time, I thought that I would own stores in Eko selling clothes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and here I am. I don't own stores, but I own a business that is global. Everywhere you go, all over the world, where Nigerians are, you will definitely find Grandiose Pop.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tell me, walk me through your journey. I mean, some of the challenging times you encounter or you have encountered in running Grandiose Prothrive Astute Heights.
Yeah, so I think one of the most profound challenges that I had was shortly after COVID. Prices went up and our working capital was eroded. It was quite a tough time during that period. So what we had to do then was to go back to the drawing board and say, what are our costs like, and find out how we could shed costs. So we had to be more efficient so that we'll be able to free money, because at that time, prices had gone up and there's a limit to how much you can increase your prices by.
True.
So we had to work on our cost a lot. And it took us, I think, about a year to get out of that space. And then we also, based on the financial management that we have had, almost all our financial transactions passed through our banks, we're also able to raise funding from the banks to be able to fund the working capital and get through that space after about a year or two.
For anyone listening out there now that is into your kind of business or that intends to get into your kind of business, what is that thing you're doing differently to keep your business going? I mean, running the business for a decade or above a decade, well over a decade now, isn't small feat, right? What is that thing that you're doing to make you stand out?
So I guess I would choose two of the most important things. One is quality. And what I keep saying is that you can fool somebody once, but if you fool the person the second time, that means the person allowed you to fool him or her for one reason or the other.
Oh, yeah, that.
So we also always ensure that the quality of our product is top notch, is the same day in, day out, and we keep striving to ensure that we just stay at the top when it comes to quality. And then the second thing that we've done, I have done as the leader of that business, is financial discipline. To say that, okay, as we're doing this business, we're not saying, oh, money is now coming in, I want to go and buy wig, I want to buy shoes.
Yes, want to buy shoe and bag.
No. The money is for Prothrive. And then I'm a steward for Prothrive, and I ensure that money, Prothrive uses it judiciously.
Okay.
So those two important things are very,
Let's
very
talk about role models. Do you have any?
Yeah, in Nigeria, I have two actually.
A woman.
Yes, women, of course.
Okay.
Mrs. Ibukun Awoshika.
Amazing.
Yeah. And
so what do you see in her?
For her, she was able to to build her business in a male-dominated environment and succeed at it. I also believe that production used to be, male-dominated, because I have so many motors, machines, and things like that. So I look at her that if she's able to achieve that, get to the top of her game, what's stopping me? And then for Tara, recently she was able to, step back from her business. And then I'm looking at her, oh, wow, that's something very courageous. So it's something that I also look up to, and I'm very, very inspired when I think about the two women and when I read about them or listen to them.
What is that one thing that has kept you going as an entrepreneur?
Hope and optimism. What I keep saying is that entrepreneurs are very optimistic, optimistic in nature. When all the cards are falling, if you have an entrepreneur in that space, the entrepreneur will pick the cards and build something with it. So being optimistic when even things don't look so good, looking and hoping that there is light at the end of the tunnel is something that has made me to keep going.
You look forward to the likes of Tara and Ibukun Awoshika. What would you like to be remembered for?
I would like to be remembered for being a woman who turned around our local food into something that is portable, something that is now globally
acceptable.
Yeah, because even right now, it's not only Nigerians that are taking grandiose pap.
Amazing.
Yes, it's just all over the place. Even white people take it, and then people from different walks of life take it, and then we get feedback from them. So somebody who has been able to turn around something that people just take as it's not just something messy, just there, or some food for sick people, to something that is now globally accepted, that is everywhere.
All right, then, before I let you go, I mean, if you were to give a Nigerian woman an advice now on how to be a better version of herself, what would that advice be?
The advice I would have for a Nigerian woman to be a better version of themselves is to have a vision and work towards it. And also ask for help when you get to a point where you need help. Sometimes don't believe that you can do it all alone. There are people around who are willing and able to help you. You only need to ask. And if you ask and you get a no from one person, don't be discouraged. Just move on you will definitely get a yes at some point.
Ask and you shall be given. All right, the words of Yemisi Shesonbe, the managing director of Prothrive Astute Limited. I have been speaking with her on the show tonight. That's Women on Wheels. Prothrive Astute Limited, they are the makers of Grandiose Pap, the one you find on the shelf in every store you walk into. I must say a very big thank you to you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, this is where we wrap things up on today's edition of Women on Wheels. Let me say a very big thank you to my producer. This program has been put together by Jose Oluwayemisi from Eladia Boom. And of course, our executive producer is Taiwo Akonle. Maximum thanks to Debbie Bolodioku and of course Victor Terry. Yes. Let me also say maximum thanks to the sponsors of our program. Okay.
I have a shout out to my husband. Today is his birthday. Happy birthday, Chesson.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Mr. Chesson. And thank you for supporting Yemisi. From us to you, we say many happy returns. And this is where we wrap it up on today's edition of the show. The program makes a return next week next week Tuesday at 7:30. I remain Taiwo Baruwa.